Hi guys, hope everyone is good. I'm feeling great, right? So today's lesson is gonna be about medieval theater. So that's the type of theater we're gonna be focusing on today. We're gonna be unpacking it and getting more details as much as possible about it. Okay, so medieval theater. What is medieval theater? So this is a kind of theater that was very popular during the era of the Middle Ages. Okay, I'm sure every one of us were not born at that time. It was a long, long time ago, but it was popular back in those days, right? So, what is it about? So, what is the medieval theater? So, it was used, or it was an expression of the Christian religion. So it originated just to be used as an expression of the Christian religion. Okay, so it was used as a source of entertainment as well as education for the resident of the middle classes. So back in the days, a lot of people were not educated. They couldn't read, they couldn't write, so they just used plays, or they used performances to communicate or to teach about the Bible. So as I've said, they were just expressions of the Christian religion. So they were teaching the people about the Bible. So performances were done to teach about the Bible, right? Since people couldn't write, couldn't read, so the level of illiteracy was too high at that time. So they decided to just use performances, or create this type of theater to be able to teach about the Bible, right? So just to give a brief background about the entire, or the medieval society. So as like in every society, there's different groups that are there in a society that or that consists of, or that creates that society. So same thing with the medieval theater. So the medieval society, there were rich people, there were struggling people, there were poor people, or there were people who can afford, right? So all of these people, all of this medieval society, they were churchgoers. They loved church so much. They lived their lives were driven by the church. So in church, there were sin. Everyone was not allowed to sin, to do a sin, or to be a sinner. Hence, there was a rule, or they created 7 deadly sins. So there were 7 things that they called 7 deadly sins. 7 things that no one was allowed to do or to become. So in the 7 things, we're looking at pride. So no one was allowed to have pride. So if you had pride, you were a sinner, or it was a sin to have pride. Envy, that's the second one. The third one is sloth, or we could say it's laziness. So being lazy was regarded as a sin, right? And we're looking at the one that's called wrath or anger. I'll go with the simple one, anger. So being angry was a sin, because you are doing something that the heart couldn't handle, or the heart was being hurt by the anger that you're putting inside, or the anger that you're putting inside your body, something that you shouldn't be containing or shouldn't be putting inside your body. So anger as well was regarded as a sin. And we're also looking at lust. Having desires for things was also seen as a lust. So it was also regarded as a sin. Okay? The greed. Being greedy was also a sin. And lastly, it's gluttony. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the word correctly, but I think it's gluttony. say it's basically wanting too much, not being able to appreciate or have enough of what you have, wanting too much food, or eating too much. It was also regarded as a sin. So those were the 7 deadly sins that were put out there for everyone to know, that you shouldn't be going anywhere, or you shouldn't be part of those things, or you shouldn't be engaging in those things. So we said it's lust, sloth or anger, wrath or so it's lust, gluttony, it's sloth or laziness, and then wrath or anger, greed, pride, as well as gluttony. So those were 7 deadly sin. And envy. Sorry, I repeated gluttony twice. So it's envy. Right. Okay. Now, these performances then that were done, they were done inside the church, since it was a way of educating or teaching about the Bible. So the performances were happening inside the church. So on this type of performance, there were 3 types of plays that were popular, or that were performed. So we were looking at morality plays, we're looking at miracle plays, as well as mystery plays. So when we're talking about mystery plays, it's when we're talking about the stories that were taken directly from the Bible, right? And we're looking at the mystery plays. The mystery plays are the stories about life or actions that the way that a person needs to behave, or the actions that were made by a person to become a saint. So there were stories that were about life and actions to become a saint. And then lastly, the morality plays. The morality plays, we're looking at the lessons that or teaches lessons about how to live life according to the church rules. So this one, it was teaching the people to follow the church rules. All right, so those were the 3 plays that were popular at that time: miracle plays, mystery plays, as well as morality plays. I'm just hoping everyone is still with me right now. I'm hoping everyone is not confused. Right. Okay. Now, so as time goes by, a lot of people started showing interest, started engaging in these performances. Now the churches were full. There were no spaces now, and they ended up even using the outside, the verandas, going outside. No space now. And then they decided to move the performances outside of church, since as well they were now starting to accommodate even the themes that were outside of church. So the performances moved outside of church. Okay, now the plays were performed across the town, everywhere around town, anywhere on an open space there you find performances. Right, so they moved from the church to outside of church because of the space, because of the level of people that were showing interest, and now the theater started accommodating themes that were not based on church but outside church. So they decided to move the stories outside of church, right, based on those reasons. Right. Okay, now we're gonna look at the type of costume that was used. So since it was based in church, the costume just it was robes. So let's say, for instance, an actor is gonna be performing an angel character. So they're gonna wear robes and then have wings attached to them to show that they are they are angels, or that person is, or that actor is an angel. Okay, there's nothing too hectic when it comes to the costume that was used during that time. Yeah, so for now we're gonna stop there, and on our next lesson we're gonna continue looking at one of the plays, or one of the popular plays in the medieval theater, which is called Everyman. So we're gonna be looking at the characters, the structure of the play, the themes that were popular there, the costume. So we're just gonna be unpacking the whole play on our next lesson, and then hopefully we're gonna start reading the play, and for everyone to understand. So we're gonna start unpacking the play before we start reading, so that it's gonna be easier when we start the reading process. Now you understand the kind of themes, the costume, you know, the structure, all of those things, the plot, you know, it's gonna be easier and more convenient for you guys to engage with the script. So our lesson ends there for today. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.